Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 301. Today we're going to talk about Oddball Aeronauts. This is a game that was kickstarted last year. It's a two-player only game, and basically the theme of it is that each player is flying this kind of like Zeppelin steampunky type of ship, and you have a deck that's your own, but the deck basically stays in your hand. You don't even need a table to play this game. So it's got a unique physical sort of component type of thing happening, and the gameplay is interesting. So let's take a look at how it works, and I'll come back and give you my thoughts. Okay, so this is what you get in the basic box here. Now I think this is a little bit different than what the Kickstarter backers were getting. I'm not 100% sure. This is like the retail version that I have. Basically what I have here is two sort of starter decks, and then you have this little initiative lead token here, and then we have some different events here, and I've gone ahead and shuffled in two events into each of these decks, and that's what you normally do when you play the game, is you have these events that come up and kind of trigger cool little things that happen. Now what each player is going to do is they're going to take their deck, they're going to shuffle it up, so we'll shuffle this up a whole bunch, and we're going to take the bottom three cards there, turn them face down, and then you're going to fan out your cards. So you can look as far down the line as you want, but you're really only concerned with the top three cards. Maybe you look at the next couple to see what's coming up. So what happens here is through a quick little game of rock, paper, scissors, somebody's going to get the lead token. They're going to take this, and they're going to take their deck in their hand, and they're going to declare an attack. Well, you can see there's three different attack values. You've got sailing, bullets, and then boarding here. So again, these think of your hand of cards as like this ship kind of flying around, and this is all you need. You don't need a table or anything. You can hold this one in your other hand or put it in your pocket or whatever, but you just need this one hand of cards that you're going to be using. Now what's going to happen as you do battles is you're going to fight, and you're going to take damage, and you're going to discard cards. When you discard cards, you flip them over and put them in the back like so. So the first player to basically run out of cards, once they see, the back of the card come up, their ship has been destroyed, and they're out of the game, and your opponent has won the game. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the top three cards. Each player's going to do that, and they're going to say, hey, do I have an event? If you are the only person to have an event, you're going to play the event. And then this is going to basically be the condition of the event. Sometimes it'll say who has the highest bullet rating, and you're just going to look at the top card and say, oh, I've got a 4, you've got a 5. And then you're going to get a little different effect there. If both players have an event in their top three, then we go ahead and just everybody discards their event, and that's it, we move on. Actually don't like that mechanic because I really like the events, and I wish they could come up more often and stuff, but I'll get to more of that in the review. But I do like the events in general, so that's the first thing you're going to do is check for the events. And then whoever has the lead is going to declare a type of attack. So let's say in this case, I'm not going to look at that. We'll pretend I don't know what that is. So I'm going to look at my three cards here. So I say, okay, I've got a good amount here in, let's say, bullets. Okay, now what you do is you're going to look at the big number of your first card. So I'm going to say, hey, we're going to fight bullets. So I'm going to get 4, then I'm going to look down to my next two cards, and I'm going to get +3 and +3. And then the other player will say, hey, I'm going to do sailing. We're going to declare the number of cards we're going to use, and then we're going to play them simultaneously. So a couple things you could do. I could do the first and the second card, or the first and the third card, or first and the second card, or all three cards. But the cards that you use to apply to the battle, you're going to get discarded and use them. If you lose the battle, depending on what type of attack your opponent did, you may lose extra cards. So if, let's say, I had attacked with sailing and won, I'll apply the cards that I used, and then when you win with sailing, you can recover 2 cards. So you turn over the 2 cards here, so it's kind of a way of healing. If you win with bullets, your opponent has to discard 2 extra cards. So we get our opponent's deck ready here. So we fight, opponent loses, so they're going to lose the cards they used in battle, and since they lost the bullets, they lose 2 more cards. So they were starting to make good damage on the opponent. And the boarding attack is kind of somewhere in between. If you win with boarding versus whatever your opponent has, then you are going to recover 1 card, and your opponent is going to discard 1 extra card. And this whole process here is very easily laid out there. Check events, announce skills, play 1, 2, or 3 cards, and then you do the results, and then any effects, and then here's the effects of what happens. Now, the cards here also have these little tricks on them. So if you want, you can choose one of these tricks. So I can say, hey, if I led with bullets, then I can support bullets with bullets and rating. So I could, you know, apply a whole bunch of things. Now there's all these different effects here. You can choose the win effect. So if you didn't want it to be the sailing effect and the bullet effect, you could choose that. So there's all kinds of good stuff here. Now there is also here, you can see magic. Now this you have to declare, hey, I'm using magic, and then you're locked into using that particular trick. But if your opponent has a little shadow icon on one of the cards that they played here, let's see, he's got a few there, not so many, like this one here, then that is immediately going to cancel the magic. So that's an interesting dynamic as well, because, you know, you're kind of telegraphing, hey, I'm going to do magic, and all of the magic tricks are basically plus to all the various, you know, attacks, or whatever attack you use, you would just apply that. So you know they're kind of coming in strong. So when you have to make a choice as to what cards to apply, you may say, oh, well, hey, I'm going to pull this one in and do these two, but leave this one for the next round and stuff like that. And that's really where the game kind of works, is you can kind of look ahead in your deck and say, oh, okay, I'm going to kind of slough off. I'm just going to give one card here. Yes, they're attacking me with bullets, so, well, I don't want the next two cards to go away, so I should make use of them. There's some kind of dynamic back and forth there. Again, the events come up and they kind of do random things. They may hurt you. They may help you in your own deck there. And then, oh, and then the other thing they see here I meant to talk about is, here we go, here's a mercenary card here. So this is a big beefy guy here, and in the starter game here, each of these has, you know, one mercenary that does a whole mess of damage. You can see it's got 11 starting for the sailing there. So it's very quick to play. They do mention other possibilities for deck building and stuff in here, and I do believe the Kickstarter guys got a whole bunch of extra cards. That's basically how the game works. Let's go to the review. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the overview. Now, this is something I do not often do with a game, because I hate to damn a game with faint praise, because there's only so much time I have on the planet. So I either want to really enjoy a game or mostly enjoy a game, or not really like a game at all and gripe about it if I'm in a bad mood. This one is right in the medium, because this is why I'm talking about it though, because I see it as like having a lot of potential. Now, I made mention of the extra cards that I think the Kickstarter guys got. That may or may not save the game for me if I had those cards, maybe. I don't know. I don't, you know, because you have the two decks, and we've had games where, let me see how many times I played this. I think 5 or 6. Let's call it 5. And we've had games that are very exciting, like, oh, right down to the thing, I'm trying to outguess you. I know you spent a couple of your big cards already, so, you know, I'm trying to guess the right amount. Do I push it? And do I call bullets so that you have to discard 2 extra cards, and I use all 3 of my cards even though I'm running low on my deck? There's a lot of cool stuff like that. And do I use this trick? Do I push it with the magic? You know, because like you've got the one mercenary that's just that black card, and I'm just going to do the one guy with magic, and all by himself he's a beefcake. So I'll see if I can get away with that, you know, as far as winning the battle. And then kind of, you know, changing the lead token and stuff. But it's like there's not enough of the cool combos and stuff. You can't really set yourself up that much. Because on one hand, we had the really close games, and we had the games where it's like a runaway leader. But it's not even a runaway leader, it's just bad luck for the one guy. It's like, I can't muster more than 7 or 8 strength, and you're getting like 10 at every single time that you do it. And you're just running me over with bullets. But the core is so neat to me. You know, you've got the one-handed deck, you've got the really cool mechanic where you can just look, you know, into the future and really plan your next couple of turns. But all of that, the focus of the game is so much on your own deck and what you can do and what kind of combos you can try to set up for yourself, that what the other player's doing, you know, you can't really deal with that too much. And I wish there was more events and stuff like that. It would cause a little bit of interaction and cause just some dynamics to occur in the course of the game. The game plays pretty quickly. It's like, I don't know, 10 minutes or so once you figure out how to play. But yeah, it's a really neat game. I would totally check it out. And you know, I don't know what the retail is, but you can check it out. It's a nice little filler. You can play it on the subway or whatever. And it's really cool for that. But in terms of like, you know, how often do I want to play this? I mean, not very much. I would like to be able to build my own deck, and the rules do suggest that. So I think as a core set, this can be a very fun game. You know, you can play it. It's easy enough once you learn to teach a kid how to play it or whatever. And so I did want to make a video for it, because I do think it's very interesting and you know, a noble effort. You know what I mean? It's like they really did a cool, good idea, and I like the core of the system. But I just want to see that rounded out where I can really, you know, have some interaction, a little bit more of a meta game available, which may, you know, exist with the extra cards. If they get extra cards, I think I read somewhere they got like twice as many cards you get in the retail. So anyway, that's Oddball Aeronauts, and I would take a look at it. You know, you may enjoy it more or less than me, but it's just kind of like mediocre for me at that point. So I'm very sorry for saying that, but I hate to say that. It's like, you know, meh, you know, that's kind of jerky. Either like I like it and I have very clear reasons, or I don't like it and I have very clear reasons. And this is kind of like, I think it's really good, but it just needs some more. And so I want to talk about it. So there you go, Oddball Aeronauts, check it out.